How's it
Shawn.
going?
How are you?
All right, good to see you. Sorry for not dressing up for you.
That's okay, buddy. We're all in the, we're all in it together. We got to do our jobs, right?
That's right.
What are you doing in here?
Got flooded in the January storm, so we gutted it out. Rebuilding it, putting it back together now.
It didn't get flooded again this last one?
January is the worst one, and the other ones haven't gotten in the house. Thank goodness.
My gosh. Oh, you might have to wear your seatbelt.
Sorry about that.
Let me ask you about this area. This area is in trouble.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's going to continue to
It's flooded a few times. They need to raise the house. They just need to put it on a foundation. They're going to need to do that with all the houses.
But how high do they need to go, though? My God.
Well, this one will be okay for the time being.
Right.
But I mean, my aunt lived on Easton Street, so when I was growing up, she would get flooded out every couple of years. But now it's the last few years, it's more and more and more. So they're just going to need to do something about it, whether it's raise their houses, because this was all built on fill.
I know it.
So
I remember the No Name Storm. Well,
right.
you were a young guy then, right?
I was at the grocery store at the AMP. I was the co-manager back then. It was like 1990. It was Bob, and then the No Name Storm.
Whoa! Yeah, that was unreal.
Yeah, that was unreal.
The damage that had happened down here was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your job? You're a carpenter?
Yep, do construction.
Yep. Okay. Why do you want to be a selectman?
Why do I want to be a selectman? It's one of those things that it's a real tough decision right now. We're going through a transition as a town, and I really don't like the direction that we're going in, and I'm afraid that this is going to be one of my life's regrets in 50 years if I don't do anything about it. This island has a lot of issues. I think with this rapid development, we're at this breakneck pace to just build, and no one is thinking of any of the consequences of any of the lack of the community. Everyone's talking about, we have $1 billion in real estate sales. Well, is that really good for the community to not know who your neighbors are year after year, to have all this rapid development? It's really not. It brings down so many people that just mine Nantucket for money, which I understand that people come here for money. It's a great place. I mean, the economy is always booming, it seems, but we also have a major drug problem now. Nantucket's just changing, and we need to pump the brakes a little bit on the development, really take a look at where we are and where we want to be in 20 years and 50 years, because I don't think there's any sort of long-term goal or any sort of long-term study or even long-term plan.
How are you going to do that, though? I mean, I understand the voicing of it, okay, and which I'm in agreement with you. But how can you stop it? I've been here 30 years, and there's always been somebody that has said we got to try to slow this down, and yet we don't do it. What's causing us not to slow it down, Shawn?
What's causing us not to slow it down is the money.
It's the greed.
It really is just greed.
Yeah.
It really is greed. No one wants to, everyone says, a building cap. We can't do a building cap. It's like, why not? Other places around America have a building cap, and it works just fine. It's more sustainable, organic growth. And right now, if you look around Nantucket, you just have developers buying up every piece of land they can to put a home on it and sell it.
Yep, and put a pool in.
Obviously.
Which is that is another sign of just out of control.
Because you need a pool.
Yeah.
You need a pool.
Well, if you're not cool unless you have a pool.
Right, and if you're going to rent your house out, you can pay for the pool in 1 year.
Right.
So
right.
You need a pool.
Look at this, huh? Yeah. I don't remember seeing this. I honestly,
it happens all the time.
Now it happens all the time. Is that salt water? I mean, would you say
probably? I mean, it all came in. It flooded this area and just hasn't been able to retreat. So it came in with the tide, and now it's just sort of stuck, a little landlocked.
Unreal.
It wouldn't drive through it.
Okay, so I got to ask you, what qualifications do you think you need to be a selectman?
I think that you need to be paying attention, and you need to care. You need to understand the issues. You need to be able to have answers. You need to have solutions for the issues. Qualifications is kind of a loaded question because, I've never worked in City Hall. I've never worked in Town Hall. But I've paid attention. I've always considered myself to be a smart kid. And I think there are better ways to do things. I don't know if you want to talk about qualifications, about, I don't know how carpentry relates to, being qualified to be a selectman, but just being aware of what's going on in Nantucket Island my whole life, from being around Nantucket, from traveling the world the way I've traveled. I can see that there is a better way of doing things besides just breakneck development.
Where have you traveled?
Well, I've traveled all around the States several times. My wife is from Europe, so we go over to Europe every summer.
Okay.
So we go over there every year. I've traveled through India.
Can I ask what country she's from?
She's from Lithuania.
Oh, interesting. And do they do things a little differently over there?
They do things.
I mean, have you
Every
learned
place-
anything from them?
Every place does things a little differently, and I've learned a lot. Just the instant gratification, really, when you come back to the States, is really kind of it's a big issue. You know, when you really think about even just bagging your groceries. You know, just the paper or plastic. You know, it's over there. You just have your own bag. You don't mind if you walk a half a mile or a quarter mile to the grocery store. You just do it just because that's what everyone else is doing. You know,
Right.
You know, you go get your apples from the trees.
Wow.
You go get honey from the man who has the bees, and it's really a great quality.
And is
of
that
life.
just because they choose to set it up that way, or is it just because they just haven't grown enough?
Well, they are growing. Their
to the-
economy is they call it the Baltic Tiger, and it's the fastest growing economy in Europe for several years. You know, they have a lot of cheap labor.
They're choosing to live this organic life rather than you know.
They choose to live more of an organic life. You know, GMOs are banned. You know, people, you know, you go buy vegetables from the woman who has the dirt under her fingernails. You know, that's what they choose to do.
Neat. I've always wanted to go to Lithuania. Never been over there. Okay, so next question. So what 3 issues do you feel are the most pressing that should be addressed?
Okay, what 3 issues?
Yeah.
Well, I think the breakneck pace of development is really, you know, the biggest issue, and then we have other symptoms of that will, you know, that should help if we slow down the development, like the drugs, the opioid addiction. I mean,
You really think there's a connection between?
I think there is definitely a connection between all the workers that come over. I hate to say that on television or on the
you're saying
camera,
it now.
but
Well, this is
you know,
what
I
this
think
show's
there
about.
is there is a connection. So I saw some suspicious activity with a man in an area a couple weeks ago, and I went to the police department. I said, you know, this guy looks like he's doing something suspicious over here, and he's there 24 hours a day, it seems. And they said, are there job sites around in that area? And I said, yeah, and I was told that, you know, they hang out near job sites.
Is that right? I did not know that. Interesting.
The other day at Marine Homes, a delivery man came by with a delivery, and he said, you know, you were later on the list, but I know you guys are good people. I just wanted to talk to some nice blue-blooded people. So here I am. So I mean, there's a lot of great construction companies out here.
Sure.
All right, but there are some bad seeds, and I think we need to take care of the people who aren't here mining Nantucket for money. That's what I really feel. I know this isn't going to help everyone. You know, I'm in construction. It's not going to be the best for my work. But we need to really do something about the community.
Well, the guys that get the work would be the guys that live here first. I mean, that just goes to.
Well, you would think that in the long run, it would work out that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the free parking lot for the off-island workers, and I know it's the free parking lot because they were taking up all the spaces in town, but there are other ways to handle that problem besides giving them a free place to park.
Right. Do you think that the off-island guys are hurting your business?
I think that if you talk to several people, not my business, I think that I'm pretty much as, you know, on Nantucket right now, you're as busy as you want to be. You're as busy as you answer your phone. I mean, that's how it is, it seems. Yeah. But there are a lot of people out here who I've been talking with whose wages haven't gone up in 10 years, and I think that's directly related to the competition. I mean, how could it not be? Wages have not gone up. They just haven't gone up for a lot of different people. And I know that everyone's house is going up in value, and everyone is, you know, doing well in that regards. You know, the prices of, you know, lumber is going up, you know, but wages aren't really staying with it.
Okay.
They're not staying consistent.
Getting back to the issue, any other issues?
All right, so you got
one, which is a building cap.
The long term, the long term effect on the environment out here, you know, and that also is with the development. So that's just another, as I said, it's all connected.
Okay.
The environment out here, we're just dumping, we're clear cutting more areas. They call it conservation land, which they just mow. There's just so much fertilizers and everything thrown down on the soil. Everyone needs to have a nice big green lawn. And so all these houses are just being built where there was a forest, a place for the water to run into, and now everything's running off, going into our wetlands, into our watershed. Once we hit a point, there's no turning back. There really is no turning back as soon as everything is destroyed. I shouldn't say destroyed, but polluted or contaminated.
You think there's still time?
I think there is still time,
Okay.
but we need to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to actually have a study done, and we need to just have it as a priority.
No one on the board is really doing that, though, are they?
No one-
I don't think that anyone is taking your position as strongly. That I can think of.
I don't think so either. I don't think anyone on. One of the biggest problems also is that I don't think anyone really represents me. I think that we are lacking representation on the board.